second segment. It's a Lagos-centric segment. And today we're shedding light on breaking the stigma of living with HIV AIDS. Despite a significant advancement in antiretroviral medications, which has reduced HIV-related deaths, many individuals still have to deal with rejection and discrimination, often from their closest family and friends. This stigma not only affects mental health, but also hinders effective management of the virus. Joining me in the studio is a very interesting person, Dr. Africa Ogunyale.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I got it right.
Yes.
He's a medical practitioner and advocate for the rights of people living with HIV AIDS. Together, we'll explore the realities, challenges, and solutions to breaking the stigma surrounding this particular condition. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure, ma'am. Good morning, viewers. Good morning.
You'll find out why I said I have a very interesting guest with me this morning. Okay, let's begin this conversation by explaining, what stigma, really entails. This is for people who don't even know that they are doing it to other people.
Well, good morning once again. If you look at the word stigma, we need to look at the root of people, the cultural background. The beautiful thing is we Africans, we have a toga sewn with stigma. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. If you go to way past, whenever a particular thing is in a particular family, for instance, let's assume you want to get married to a boy that is from a family that had a case of madness in the past.
I understand.
The next, especially my tribe, the Yorubas, what they tell you is, you can't marry him. They have madness running in their family. It's not possible. Whereas, it could be that it was just a case of depression or psychosis. Am I communicating? And that has become a kind of a toga that is to be worn by the entire family. That's better. In cases of women with postpartum depression, Yoruba call it abi sewing thereabouts, yes. Once you say, I want to marry a girl from this family, they'll be like, no. They have postpartum depression, which is abi sewing. Abi sewing translates literally into giving birth and running crazy or going berserk or going mad. So which means they'll tell you it's going to affect the baby giving birth to and it's going to run in the lineage. So now stigma in the African context is something that has been enshrined into our culture, into our custom, that has been seen as a norms with us. Whereas in Western world, you see people with this so-called HIV living fine. And moreover, patients with HIV too, they don't have this psychological buoyancy to really step and say, yes, I'm positive, but I'm living fine. HIV is not a death sentence. It only becomes a death sentence when you don't manage it beautifully.
Okay, and this leads me to the next question about misconceptions about this condition. Should I call it? It's a condition.
It is a medical condition.
It's a medical condition. So, what are the greatest, or what are the main misconceptions? About HIV?
Okay, people believe the moment you are HIV positive, if I touch you, I'm going to catch it. I'm telling the truth. They believe, I cannot drink water, the same water you're drinking. I cannot leave. I cannot leave where you live because you are HIV positive. I need to run away from you. But do you know the funniest thing? That person running does not know if he or she is positive at that point. Because we Nigerians, we don't actually go for medical checkups. We don't do it. It is when surgeries are coming up or you are falling ill, that doctors will say, okay, let us see if we could do X, Y, Z. And when they now do it, it now becomes positive. Am I communicating?
Yes, you are.
So the misconception is so broad to the extent they see it as the moment you are HIV positive, you're already a leper. And you know the way they run away from leper. That's why they have leper colony. So I am sure most of these people would have preferred saying, okay, let us create HIV colony. There was a time when you're HIV positive in this country, doctors don't let you go home. They will tell you to wait behind. Why are you waiting for? Are they going to counsel the patient the way he or she is going to be counseled? Or they are going to brutalize the patient mentally?
Or it deliberately just alienates this person.
It used to be in the past in Nigeria. So the misconception is an hydra-headed monster that has eaten deep into the fabric of our existence in this part of the world. And another thing is this: we are not pragmatic with our approaches to issues in Nigeria.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, for instance, HIV has been a scourge. What have we done as a nation to counter it or to move? Most of these medication we get, they are from United Nations, AIDS. And all those ones. It is under this present regime of Bola Tinubu that Nigeria started championing research into HIV vaccines.
Vaccines, okay.
It was until this year. I was shocked. All these years, there was a time in particular Dr. Balaka came up that he has the cure, he has this disease.
It was a big issue for him. Like, nobody believed him, or they believed and pretended not to.
But it would have helped us if the government had
supported him,
gone into it, and do one or two things to see what is happening.
So this, from what you've said so far, we have like an issue here, a challenge of misinformation, about HIV. Because when you said some people believe that when they drink from the same cup, they will catch
I won't
the
call
condition.
it misinformation.
Okay.
I'll say it is a misperception.
Okay, misperception.
Because the information is out there. It is the way that you now swallow, digest, and utilize. That is the problem.
Okay. So how can this be combated fully?
I think it has to do with advocacy. And what do I mean by advocacy is this. Let us take this campaign to the grassroots. Let these iyalojas, let these area boys, let these children in primary school get to know. When you conscientize them, they grow with it. This generation with the so-called misperception will soon fade off.
Okay. Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, because it is easy to bend a fish that is not yet roasted. But when you try to bend a roasted fish, it tends to break. So we try to build a culture of beautiful perception by ingraining in the younger generations the essence, the core, and why all this has to be. So that is the way it can be. Because government is spending a lot of money making noise, but is the noise getting to the right?
Is the noise
person?
enough? Or is it getting to the right
persons?
Channels?
No, it's not about you saying this on radio. Everybody do not have radios.
So how do you think is best for government to, channel this information or awareness?
Beautiful. When Dr. Ransome Kuti Olikoye started this primary healthcare system in Nigeria, people never thought it was going to work.
It was going to work.
So now, these primary healthcare centers could be used as medium. How? There's a map that is being covered by a particular PHC. So this area, today, we want to get people to speak at a kind of a town hall meeting. It could be quarterly, it could be biannual, it could be annual. So they will know that they are bringing this to their doorstep. Remember when COVID came, there was a way they disseminated information, even with the misperception, I'll bait yourself, Ebola then too, bait yourself with salt and the like. People still understood the danger and what to do to avert and avoid it. That's what you call contact-to-contact information dissemination. That's what's going on, because you are going to come to the level of, I don't call my people illiterate, to the level of someone that does not have formal education and explain the nitty-gritty of what you are passing across. That person will now use the native intelligence to absorb it and spread to others. But while we were growing up, there are some things we were taught using tales, stories. You could remember, they will tell you then, like for instance, in Yoruba, they will tell you when it is raining, don't stand by the door, don't use your hand to gather rainwater. The reason is not far-fetched, it's because they don't want you to catch cold or flu.
True.
But you understood the dangers in using your hand to gather rainwater, basically. So I think the government needs to go back to the traditional way. Like my mom was an agricultural extension worker. So when she was alive, there is a way she used to go to these interlands, all these villages, to spread information about new crops. It what show my Nigerian people what this is.
Yes,
And believe
okay.
you me, they understand. We are very, very intelligent.
Okay, to corroborate what you are saying, I know the Lagos State government, through the Ministry of Health, that has this HIV unit, LSACA, have stakeholders meetings with traditional rulers, faith, imams,
leaders,
yes, our religious leaders. I know they take it to schools. I know they take it. They take this advocacy also to markets. So for Lagos State government, I know they are, playing their part in disseminating information through to the right channel. Okay, from your experience, I would like you to talk about. Give us an example if you've ever been in contact with someone who has HIV, AIDS, and is there a part you played, in counseling someone who was stigmatized?
Okay.
And how was the person, how did the person feel?
Okay. There is a client of mine who was to undergo surgery. So she had a test and it showed she was positive. When she called me, she was crying. I was just like, that's not the end of the world. Relax. She was like, nobody will date. I was like, don't worry, everybody will date you. Just relax. So I made her repeat the test to confirm if it was actually positive. And it was positive. But the unfortunate thing was, where she went for this surgery, they had already alienated her that no, they won't do her surgery because it's more or less like all these outreaches, they removed her file. Now, we got talking. I was like, she should come and see me. She came, blah, blah, blah. I took her to where she could be getting her drugs. I even told her, don't worry, I will be your boyfriend. There's no problem. It's not the end of the world. And she's living fine now, using her drugs. And the issue is this: the moment the CD4 count is way over 200, then you cannot infect anybody again. That's the viral load. Once the viral load goes down,
from taking their medications
you can,
regularly.
Yes, you can have sex without condoms. It won't infect. But the moment if it is less than that 200, CD4 is a T lymphocyte. It's one of the cells that the body uses to fight against invasion by infections and other ones. So the first thing HIV attacks is the CD4 when it enters your body, and that is between first and sixth week. So at that time to be replicating itself, just like when bedbug enters your house, to it quickly spread its eggs. That's what it does. So the moment it's able to colonize your immune system, then it will become chronic and to start reducing how it spread because it has become the landlord already.
Okay.
Like it has become the city boy in your bloodstream, so there's nothing you can do about it.
But if it was a woman, can you have normal delivery of your child?
It depends on the level of the CD4, but medically we advise CS.
CS, okay.
And we do try to prevent breastfeeding.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. Why we advise CS is this. Now let me tell you this: if the child is to have the HIV, it is the blood of the woman that flows in the child. It is until after 48 hours that the woman's blood will be expunged from the child's body. That is why when you give birth to let me call them normal babies. I won't call them neonates now. In the hospital, we do what we call serum bilirubin after 48 hours.
Okay.
Serum bilirubin is to test for their what you people call jaundice.
Oh, okay. Jaundice.
What causes jaundice? I know jaundice too is a beautiful disease that can give that child some problems with cognition and growth too. So, back to what we're saying, there is a placenta connecting the child to the mother.
Okay.
So that means there is a flow of blood from the mother to the child.
Okay.
So when they give birth to the child, so the best thing is to do CS, bring out the child, administer the so-called retroviral and all the likes on the child, so the child can live a normal life, so as not to take risk. Okay. Even if your CD4 count is more than 1 million, I will not risk you doing vaginal delivery. Okay. I'll still do CS.
Okay. Let's look at those who believe that, you know, people living with AIDS, those that are living with HIV/AIDS, brought it upon themselves? You know, how would you address such assumptions?
You know, there's something in this part of the world that is so beautiful. People always assign reasons to anything you do. Imagine a small girl that's been taken to a salon to make her hair. Or no, a boy that's been taken to a salon to barb his hair and is using the barber's clipper. And unfortunately, this clipper is unsterilized. And beautifully, there's a cut on the boy's head that touched the boy's blood, and HIV steps in.
Sheesh.
Will you call that the sins of the fathers, or the sins of the forefathers, or the sins of the mothers?
Or even the sin of the boy.
Boy. Am I communicating? There's nothing like, although chance do occur, but we should also endeavor to know what we are doing and how we are doing. We should be careful. You can see my hair is bush, I don't barb. So there's no how your clipper.
Is it because of not having contacting HIV? Is that why you don't barb your hair?
No.
Okay.
It's on a lighter mood.
Because I can say, of course, you can own your own clippers.
But what if the barber has a wound on his fingers?
Tell him to wear gloves.
No, Nigerian barbers wear gloves. How?
Tell them, you always take yours.
This is Nigeria.
That for you, as a medical practitioner, this is what you want from him. And that you've even brought the gloves. Okay. Well, if he doesn't mind, can you go and buy one for him?
Let me not tell you one beautiful lie. The guy will now tell you that you are about using the gloves to steal his glory and destiny. What will you now do?
Okay, take money, go and buy your own.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We can take responsibilities for our actions.
Okay.
You shouldn't go to a hairdresser without going with your things. You should try to avoid sharing needles. The only problem I know that we can have is this: knives at home. That's why it is good to do screening, family screening, whether we like it or not. Like once in a year, screen, so that when the knife cuts Shadi, because we know that, okay.
You mentioned my name.
Oh. That's Holy Spirit ministry.
Okay, we might need to wrap up very soon, because there is a live broadcast, but we'll have to, we'll still continue this conversation, but I'll be waiting for signals from my producer, so just want to let you to know.
Problem.
So how can family members now, you know, support people living with HIV/AIDS?
You know, the first point of contact of any individual is the family. The first school is the family. The first support is the family. It is essential for families to have something that binds them together, which is love that you can never find anywhere. So whenever anything happens, when it comes to HIV, they should understand that there's nothing they can do to change the status quo. So what they should see the person has is, peradventure they were the ones with this ailment. How will they live? And give the needed and the necessary support. That is just it. But the moment your family cast as passions, then you are in trouble. So what you just need to do is tell them, get out of my head, plug them off, and live a beautiful life. You don't need anybody's assertion to make you a better person or who you are. What you need is your own individual belief. Believe in yourself first.
Okay. I want you to, you know, give an advice to someone that is, you know, that suspects he might have, you know, this HIV AIDS, but is afraid, you know, to take the test. What advice would you have for the person?
What I've just tell the person is this, in plain words. It is either you die or you die. No, that's the truth.
It's either you die or you die. Okay.
Because when you come to this world, the next thing is to die after birth. So just take that step. You can do it in a way, don't disclose to anybody. Walk to a lab discreetly, ask for the test, get your result. And if the result is positive, just sit down, understand yourself, retrace your steps back. What could have cost me this? And try as much as possible to pick on your bedroom partners and tell them to do the tests too. So that...
Why did you say bedroom partners?
Because most people these days, that in Nigeria precisely, the incident of HIV transmission is via sex. mostly.
Oh, okay.
And that's why you see all these young girls, all these young boys say, I don't like condoms. It irritates me. It causes this. It's not always interesting with condoms. And do you know what that girl is bringing to you? Do you know what that guy is bringing to you?
Okay. I understand what you mean by partners.
So when you talk to them and they are positive to form a kind of a clique, give yourself the needed support and trudge on. It's not the end of the world. HIV being positive is not a death sentence.
Okay.
You can even become an advocate of HIV persons, and that will even lend credence to you. It could make you useful to your community at large. That's just it. But it takes courage and boldness, those two words.
Okay, I've also noticed that many people living with HIV/AIDS have come out to declare.
Not many people, very few of them.
Very few, yes, very few of them. They come out more now to declare their status. What do you think has been the reason for this?
Now, I believe so much in evolution. I think we are evolving in our country, we are evolving in our community. The moment you get stigmatized, or the moment someone attacks you with a fault of yours, the best thing is to counter it. That, yes, I know I'm like this. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there is a saying in Yoruba palace, they say, "We're laughing, wo weary."
Okay.
So when you come out, there is no stigma people are attached to you again. You have done the toga yourself. So they're like, Ojadi saw, he came out and he said it. Do you get? That is like a kind of a mental healing, basically. So it's beautiful. I only advise them to come out more. But just because I don't want people to say I have this, I don't want to. I know of a client of mine, she's positive. She has 3 kids now. And she's married. She and the husband, they are doing bedroom matics without condoms. Just because our CD4 counts is normal. So the risk of transmission is low. And the husband does his test like twice a year. And he has been negative for the past how many years? I think 2 years. He has never been positive.
Oh.
But the wife is positive.
So does it mean that once you're, even though you're taking your antiretroviral drugs regularly, does it mean that you are going to be positive for forever?
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that you can infect
Anybody, yes.
anybody.
Now, if you are taking your antiretroviral drugs, your nuclease transcriptase reduction drugs, NNRTIs, and the protease inhibitors, all those drugs, what it does is it stops the replication of the virus in your system. So this virus will just be there to be redundant. Just like putting, okay, you have a rat in your house, a mouse rather. You're able to catch the mouse and kept it in a cage. You know, if the mouse does not go out of that cage, it cannot wreak havoc. It won't eat your certificate, because that's what Nigerian mouse or mice used to do. They will eat your certificate, eat your marriage certificate, your university certificate. I don't know why. That's what they target. But the moment it is in a cage,
You said that's what they target.
the moment it is in a cage, it won't be able to do so. Same thing with this HIV virus. It could be HIV1, it could be HIV2. But that HIV1 is babao. That one is like 1 blow, 7 dies. It's stronger than the HIV2, basically.
So definitely that one can lead to death?
It can only lead to death after it has become AIDS. And let me just explain the pattern.
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
That is when it becomes acute. That's when that HIV wants to become the landlord of your system. It starts replicating itself, blah, 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 destroying your immune system. That's when you see them, when they have flu, there will be catarrh, there will be fever, there will be cough, there will be some rashes and the likes. But it will go on its own.
Oh, okay.
Then after that period, it becomes chronic. After it had colonized your system, it will now chill. That, yes, I'm the landlord there. So if you now don't start using drugs at that juncture, it will now spread and become acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is the AIDS. That is what kills. Now, you can still live with AIDS for at least 3 years without medication before the person dies. And what kills in AIDS, that is the grandfather, is opportunistic infection. Tuberculosis will come in. Cancers like lymphoma, Kaposi sarcoma will come in. So now imagine an individual standing and like 25 people are just slapping, beating the head, punching. shooting, stabbing, what happens to that person?
So once it gets to AIDS, even if you're taking your
Once it gets to AIDS and you are taking your drugs, God can still happen.
Okay.
But if you are not taking your drugs, death can happen.
If you're not taking your drugs,
death can happen. Will happen.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that can and will happen. Yes. Okay. Before this show, somebody sent me a message, and she said she found out that she has HIV when she was pregnant, with her first child.
Oh.
And the child is about 9 months now, and she hasn't told her husband.
Oh.
What do you advise she does? But she has started taking the drugs.
Well, I think it is not so good for her not to tell her husband. Because our first pillar of support is the husband. They got married. So if she's positive and she didn't tell the husband, how will the husband go for medical checkup to know if he's also positive? But they were having sexual intercourse without barriers.
Before she found out.
So she needs to tell the husband. So if the husband is positive, fine. A and B will support themselves. But the husband is not positive. Beautiful. But I'm not telling the husband is bad. I want to use a grievous sin. It's absurd. Let's assume the husband now finds out. Like now, I don't know whether you know, on TikTok or all the social media these days, you see girls saying, you go to his house, gang, do they dance. You see this drug, lamivudine, gang, be afraid. It's written HIV. Now the husband should now stumble accidentally
on those medications.
On the medication. What will he think? Oh, my wife is cheating. She has another husband. She has a boyfriend. I have an assistant. That's why this is.
How am I sure the baby in her womb is mine?
That's wahala.
So you've heard it. You said you're going to watch. I don't know you, but it was sent by someone. So you've heard it.
She should just talk to the husband. She can do it in the way that she'll go for a test now and bring the result out and start crying that she's positive. She will use emotional blackmail. So it doesn't be like, I'm the one that gave you in the air. What is the problem? Let me go and do my test. So, that is too gay for.
Okay.
She should go for a new test, though, not the old test. Why am I betraying brotherhood? Oh, Jesus.
Okay, just before we go, this is about personal responsibility for individuals who are unaware of their role in perpetuating stigma, who don't know what they're doing. What advice do you have for fostering empathy and understanding? For that lady I spoke about, her main fear is that her husband might leave her. Her main fear is that her husband might stigmatize her. And you know that when you're married, you're not married to just one man. You're married to the family.
Yes.
Would you not fair female?
Okay. Now the issue is this. I believe if she should tell the husband, there is a proverb that says, "Iti jukinikon, iti jukinikon." So the husband too knows that if the wife is stigmatized, he will also be stigmatized. Am I communicating? But above it all, we should all try to look at it this way. What will happen? So whatever happens to another person, you shouldn't see it as an opportunity to shoot that person, to castigate, to dehumanize the person. Just see it as a lesson for you people.
For you.
Because you personally don't know what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds.
Okay.
So endeavor to give support when it is needed and when it is necessary and how it is needed. Then why it is needed. You can say, I said when, how, why, then where it is needed.
Okay.
And you'll be fine.
Okay. Just before we go now, this is the final question for you. People living with HIV who are watching us now, of course, they've listened to all your advice. So what more can they do to build, resilience, and have a positive outlook to their condition?
Well, I believe this, that if you don't believe in yourself, no one will believe in you. The first thing is, accept that fact that you cannot change your status quo. Secondly, try to let these normal people without HIV know that you are unstoppable. Make impact in your community. When you make impact, when they see you, they will be the ones celebrating you. They'll be the ones running to you. And finally, keep believing in that yourself. That's just it.
Keep believing
In that yourself.
in that yourself.
Yes.
And HIV is not a death.
You know, it's like a death sentence.
Sentence.
HIV is just like one of those things, one of the badges you are wearing, one of the scars. For instance, when you see women after they're giving birth and you see their tummy, you see some beautiful tattoos, natural tattoos, wrinkles and all those.
Is that what you call natural tattoo?
Yeah, they're natural tattoo. That is scar of the war they've gone through, carrying babies and going through labor and breastfeeding. That's why when you see their breasts, you see some stretch marks too. They are scars. And these days, it's so beautiful that women now wear it beautiful.
They do.
No matter
yes.
their age, no matter the number of children.
You see,
when you see the way they dress, you're like, wow. I said, 4 kids. Like, I saw one. She told me, after Omomefa, I was like, Omomefa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're like this. I just saw that if I had met you, I would have asked her, I'd find you what's up. She just started laughing. So that's just it. Rebrand. Always rebrand. Rebrand and rebrand and rebrand.
And rebrand. Thank you very much, Dr.
Pleasure,
Africa. You know, we were talking about your name off camera, and you said, "Okay, we'll leave that for we'll leave that for later." Thank you very much. We've been talking about, you know, breaking the stigma of living with HIV and AIDS with Dr. Africa Ogunyale. He's a medical practitioner. Breaking the stigma of HIV and AIDS is not so much more of a health condition. It's more of, you know, how you take this condition, how you see it, and how you, you know, hold yourself, how you know, always, like you said, it's a badge, you know, hold on to it. Let people know that you are better than, you know, what you are going through. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, the conversation continues.